I'll put to him.
Do you know who the person is?
What's his last name, officer? I think he's Lindsay.
Did I hear newbie?
It's gonna be Nolan, Jordan Nolan. No. I'm sorry, it is newbie. I'm sorry, sir. Newbie. Ali newbie.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'm going to start.
Yes, sir.
This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County.
Esta es su comparecencia inicial ante el Tribunal de Primera Instancia del Condado de Clayton.
My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court.
Mi nombre es Brad Garner y yo soy un juez en esta corte.
I am not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case.
Yo no estoy acá para tener un juicio en su caso o para aceptar una declaración a cargos.
I am here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you,
Yo estoy acá para informarle cuáles son los cargos que han sido imputados en su contra,
to advise you of certain rights,
para decirle de ciertos derechos,
to set bail on those offenses that I am authorized to set bail,
para imponerle fianza en esos delitos que se me permite otorgarle fianza,
to schedule a preliminary hearing,
para programar una audiencia preliminar.
Sorry, Your Honor, everything that was said cut off. We didn't hear anything.
okay. I just said one more thing. It's to schedule a preliminary hearing
Para programar una audiencia preliminar
and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney.
y para determinar si usted va a necesitar la asistencia de un abogado.
You have the right to remain silent and say nothing.
Usted tiene el derecho de permanecer en silencio y no decir nada,
But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you.
pero si usted renuncia a este derecho, cualquier cosa que usted diga durante este proceso podría ser usado en su contra.
So please don't discuss the facts of your case.
O sea que por favor no discuta conmigo los hechos de cómo ocurrieron en su caso.
During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights.
Durante este y todos los siguientes procesos, usted tiene los siguientes derechos.
The right to the presumption of innocence,
El derecho a la presunción de inocencia,
the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors,
el derecho de que se le formule una acusación formal por el gran jurado para la mayoría de los delitos graves o de que se le formule una acusación por un delito menor.
the right to a speedy and public trial by jury,
El derecho de tener un juicio público rápido y por jurado,
the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you,
el derecho de ver, interrogar y cuestionar a cualquier testigo que sea citado a testificar en su contra.
the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf,
El derecho de obligar a testigos a que comparezcan para que testifiquen a su favor.
the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense,
El derecho de testificar a su favor o demostrar pruebas para ser usados en su defensa.
the right to have an attorney represent you,
El derecho de tener un abogado para que lo represente.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify.
Si usted no puede contratarse un abogado, uno se le podría ser nombrado si usted califica.
Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail.
Algunos de ustedes se le va a permitir pagar fianza para que lo dejen salir de la cárcel. Esas son fianzas sin restricciones.
This bond may be cash, commercial, or property.
Esta fianza la podría pagar en efectivo, comercial o usando una propiedad.
If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office.
Si usted va a pagar su fianza en efectivo, alguien tiene que traer la cantidad de dinero de su fianza en efectivo más las tarifas adicionales a la comisaría.
The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case.
La comisaría se quedaría con el dinero en efectivo y se lo reembolsaría al final de su caso.
If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service.
Si usted usa una compañía fiancista, alguien le tendría que pagar las tarifas a dicha compañía por sus servicios.
The fee will not be returned.
Pero esta tarifa no le sería reembolsada.
I don't know what fee will be charged, but it's usually a percentage of the bond.
Yo no sé cuál sería la tarifa que le cobrarían, pero generalmente es un porcentaje de la fianza.
Finally, if you use property to post a bond,
Finalmente, si usted usa una propiedad para pagar su fianza,
the property will need to have a net equity in an amount 3 times the total amount of the bond.
la propiedad tendría que tener un capital neto que sea 3 veces la cantidad total de su fianza.
Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places.
Algunos de ustedes van a tener condiciones especiales en su fianza, donde se le prohíbe acercarse a ciertas personas o que vayan a ciertos lugares.
This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form.
Estas condiciones especiales se le van a dar a usted en un formulario por separado.
You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail.
También a usted se le va a prohibir que se ponga en contacto con la víctima mientras usted esté en la cárcel.
If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked.
Si usted infringe las órdenes del juez, su fianza sería revocada
And you could remain in jail until your trial.
y usted podría permanecer encarcelado hasta que su caso vaya a juicio.
You could also receive additional felony charges.
También le podrían imputar cargos adicionales por delitos graves.
It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person would not be allowed to post your bond.
Es importante que sepa que si alguien está nombrado como la víctima en su caso, a esa persona no se le va a permitir pagar la fianza por usted.
Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail.
Alguno de ustedes se le acusa de algunos delitos por los cuales a este juez no se le permite por ley otorgarle fianza.
In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date.
En ese caso, se programaría una audiencia para pedir fianza ante un juez del Tribunal Superior del Condado de Clayton y a usted se le informaría a la fecha de esta audiencia.
If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time.
Si actualmente usted está bajo libertad condicional, a este juez no se le permite concederle fianza en estos momentos.
Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest.
Cuando la fianza sea apropiada en este caso, lo tomaríamos en consideración nuevamente después que su agente de libertad condicional haya tomado en cuenta este nuevo arresto.
The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you.
El propósito de la audiencia preliminar es determinar si hay suficientes pruebas que apoyen las alegaciones en su contra.
The standard at this stage is very low.
Y el estándar en esta etapa es muy bajo.
A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime has occurred.
Para que un juez determine si proceder con los cargos en estos momentos o en esta etapa, solamente tiene que determinar si existe la posibilidad de que el delito fue cometido.
Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing.
Todos tienen la capacidad de renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar.
However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing.
Sin embargo, si usted no está seguro, usted primero debe de hablar con un abogado antes de decidir si es apropiado renunciar a tener su audiencia preliminar.
If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived.
Si usted paga su fianza, la audiencia preliminar se cancela automáticamente.
You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date.
Y usted va a recibir una notificación en la dirección que usted dé de cuándo va a ser su audiencia preliminar.
At this time, I need everyone to raise their right hand.
En estos momentos, todos levanten su mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that any statements made during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
¿Jura usted y afirma que cualquier declaración dada durante este proceso va a ser la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad? Lo juro ante Dios.
Okay.
Yes.
When you're ready, we'll start with Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
Cuando esté listo, vamos a comenzar con el señor Hernández.
Mr. Hernandez.
Señor Hernández,
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle with no license.
a usted se le acusa de un cargo de conducir un vehículo sin licencia de conducir.
The bond for this offense is automatically set at $1,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
La fianza por este delito se fija automáticamente a $1,000. ¿Cree usted que va a poder pagar esta fianza, señor?
Ya la pagué.
I already paid.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
¿Está usted planeando contratarse un abogado, representarse a sí mismo? ¿O usted quiere que yo vea si usted califica para nombrarle un abogado?
No sé si voy a necesitar un abogado.
I don't know if I'm going to need an attorney. Am I going to need an attorney?
I don't know. This is an offense that probably will result in a fine, but you can choose to represent yourself, hire your own lawyer later. It's up to you.
Yo no sé, podría ser que este delito resulte en que usted tenga que pagar una multa, pero usted puede elegir representarse a sí mismo o contratarse un abogado después. Depende de usted.
El abogado lo podría contratar después cuando vaya y me llevan a corte, ¿no?
The attorney I can hire later.
Yes, sir.
They take me to court.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sí,
So,
sí, señor.
one last thing. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out.
Lo último es que le estoy fijando su audiencia preliminar para el 30 de marzo, a las 8:30 de la mañana, pero esa corte se cancela cuando usted salga bajo fianza.
Any questions of me, sir?
No, no entendí.
I didn't understand.
I'm sorry.
I didn't understand.
So there's a court date that's automatically set, but that date goes away when you bond out.
Ok, hay una corte que se fija automáticamente, pero que tan pronto usted pague su fianza y sale, el día de esa corte se cancela.
And since you've already posted bond, that date is going to go away.
Y como ya usted pagó su fianza, entonces usted no va a tener que venir a la corte en esa fecha.
Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
¿Me van a enviar la próxima fecha?
And are they going to send me the next court day?
Yes, sir.
Sí, señor.
Any other questions?
¿Alguna otra pregunta?
No.
No.
You're free to go.
Se puede retirar.
Gracias.
Your Honor, we have one more Spanish speaker. He heard the announcements as they were being read.
Okay.
You want to take him first?
Yes. What's his name?
Last name is spelled Brigido. If you just put his court-appointed attorney paperwork is getting ready to get faxed up there to you now.
Okay. Spell that name for me again.
It's spelled Brigido.
That's the first name, Deputy?
And this your first name here?
Meneses.
Say it one more time.
Meneses.
Meneses.
Okay.
Meneses.
I see it.
Señor, dígame cuál es su apellido.
Meneses Brígido.
Brígido. Entonces, Meneses es su apellido.
Segundo,
¿Y su primer nombre?
Zamora.
Su primer
Brígido.
nombre.
Brígido.
Brígido Meneses Zamora.
Sí.
They have it with MENESES on the calendar.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir, you've also been charged with driving a vehicle with no license.
Señora, usted también se le acusa de manejar un vehículo sin licencia de conducir.
The bond for that offense is also set at $1,000.
Y la fianza por este delito también está fija en $1,000.
Do you believe you can pay that bond, sir?
¿Cree usted que puede pagar esa fianza, señor?
Ya está pagada.
It's already paid.
Okay. So you're in the same position as the last gentleman. You're gonna have a date that's set, but that date is gonna already be waived because you bonded out. So I don't need to tell you that date.
O sea que usted está en la misma posición que el caballero anterior. Usted tenía una fecha de corte que automáticamente se cancela. O sea que yo ni siquiera le voy a dar esa fecha.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
¿Usted está planeando contratarse su propio abogado, representarse a sí mismo, o usted quiere que yo vea si usted califica para nombrarle un abogado?
Así está bien.
It's fine like that.
I don't understand the response.
Yo no entiendo su respuesta.
Ok. No necesito abogado, así está bien.
Oh, that I don't need an attorney.
Okay, then you're free to go back, sir.
Ok, señor, entonces se puede retirar.
Okay, is that it?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Bermudez. You're free to go.
You are welcome, Judge. You have a good day.
I'm gonna go ahead and start with the females first, Your Honor, if that's fine.
Yeah. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Ms. Campbell?
Yes.
Come up here, state your name.
Ms. Campbell, you've been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. The bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning, but that date will be waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You see if I qualify.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No question.
Okay, you're free to go back. Farrell, you've been charged with criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. I'm going to set the bond at $20,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to also set a preliminary hearing date for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning. It's going to be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Hiring a lawyer.
I'm sorry?
Hiring a lawyer.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
And if I post that bond, it get waived.
It doesn't automatically get waived, but it can get waived. Okay. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Samaria Hall.
Okay, Ms. Hall, you've been charged with 1 count of affray, which is basically fighting in public, 1 count of simple assault, and 1 count of obstruction of an officer. You're gonna have a bond set at $1,000 for the affray, $3,000 for the simple assault, and $3,000 for the obstruction of an officer. So that's gonna be a total bond of $7,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Hall. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
No.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Are you Ms. Hendon?
Yes.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 count of improper backing, 1 count of driving a vehicle with no license, and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. All of these bonds are set by schedule. The improper backing bond is set at $500. The driving a vehicle with no license is set at $1,000. And possession of marijuana less than an ounce is set at $1,500 for a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Are you unemployed?
Yes.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back. Are you Ms. Holliday?
Yes.
Ma'am, you've been charged with 1 or 3 offenses, driving a vehicle with no license. The bond is set at $1,000. Driving a vehicle with an improper tag, the bond is set at $500. And driving a vehicle with no insurance, the bond is set at $1,000. So that's a total bond of $2,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, man?
Yes.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. Did you fill out a form?
Yeah, I just filled it out before, like, we got on here. So.
Okay. Are you currently employed, Ms. Holiday?
Yes.
Approximately how much do you make per month?
I'm not sure, but I get paid like tax-free money.
And approximately how much is that per month?
I don't know. I put 400 on the paper. So.
Well, you qualify, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th. That date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me?
Yes, is there something that I can plead no with?
So that's a question you're going to have to ask your lawyer. Basically, anyone can plead no to anything if it's accepted by a judge. So the answer to your question is theoretically yes, but specifically whether that applies to you is going to be something that you and your lawyer are going to have to talk about. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You're welcome.
Awesome. Thank you.
You bet. Tell me your name. I'm sorry, say that again. Did you say Louis?
Louis.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. You've been charged with 1 count of improper lane change, 1 count of driving a vehicle with an invalid tag, and 1 count of driving on a suspended license. All of these bonds are set by schedule for a total bond of $2,500, $500 for the improper lane change, $500 for the tag, and $1,500 for the driving on a suspended license. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry?
Hiring.
Okay. If you don't have any questions for me, ma'am, you're free to go back. Tell me your name. Okay. You've been charged with 1 count of obstructing an officer, 1 count of driving a vehicle with an inoperable brake light, and 1 count of improper lane change. Bond for the obstructing an officer is going to be set at $2,000. The other 2 counts, the bond is automatic, or the bond is going to be set at $500 for each, for a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
To see if I qualify.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
No, I know.
Okay, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, ma'am.
There's more.
Ms. Moore, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for that. And I'm placing a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from an Alexis Wallace. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Say what you said again.
So you've been charged one count of simple battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000. And I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Alexis Wallace. Do you understand that condition?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you post that bond?
Yes.
Okay. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Hire my own lawyer.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, ma'am, you're free to go back. Tell me your name, ma'am.
Anissa Slaughter.
Ms. Slaughter, you've been charged with one count of simple battery and one count of criminal trespass. I'm setting the bond for these both at $2,500 for a total bond of $5,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
Yes.
I'm also putting a stay away provision on this bond, stay away from Charnel Gunn, Gunn. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
If I qualify for the lawyer.
Okay. You do qualify, Ms. Slaughter, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, ma'am?
Just besides, when will I hear from my lawyer?
So the paperwork goes over to the law firm today. The law firm is going to be Lister, Lister, and Holt, Holt. So they will know today that they've been appointed to represent you. They have their own processes for people contacting the people who have been identified. So if you don't hear from them in the next day or two, I don't have their number, but that's why I'm giving you the name of the law firm. So it should be readily identifiable. Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir, that's everything.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's up your name, ma'am?
Ciara Thomas.
Okay. Ms. Thomas, you've been charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property, that being a vehicle. I am placing the bond for this at $20,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am?
I'm not sure,
Okay.
but I just want to let you know that I just steal a vehicle. I showed the cops my payment. Okay.
So it was reported stolen,
Yes.
and so at that point, it's really just a situation of if this was improperly reported stolen, you may have a civil action against the person that did it. But we're sort of in a position where because it was reported stolen, we have to treat it as stolen. Okay.
Okay.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, ma'am, so I'm appointing a lawyer to represent you. You should tell the lawyer everything you just told me so that the lawyer can assist you.
Okay.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning, and that'll be over a Zoom hearing like we're having here today. And if everything you told me is true, then you probably won't even make it to that point of having a hearing.
Okay, now when would I be able to hear from him?
The lawyer,
Yes,
so because this is a felony, it's going to be assigned to the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. But I saw another warrant for, I think, a gentleman that had basically the same thing. So you both may not be able to be represented by the Clayton County Public Defender's Office. If so, then there'll be a private lawyer that takes appointed cases that'll be appointed to either one of you.
mhm,
As I told the other young lady, the paperwork goes over today. So they will know today that they've been appointed to represent you.
mhm.
I don't know when the contact happens, but if you don't hear from them in a day or two, you should feel free to call.
Okay,
Okay, any other questions?
no, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
That's all the females, y'all.
Okay, thank you. You have a good day.
You too, sir.
I'm ready for the mails whenever you guys are.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Hey, this is Deputy Robinson. The first person gonna be William Adams.
Thank you, Deputy Robinson.
All right.
Mr. Adams, sir, you've been charged with 3 driving-related offenses, speeding, and it looks like it's a super speeder, so the bond is going to be set at $1,500 for that. Reckless driving, the bond is also set at $1,500. Improper lane change, the bond is going to be set at $500. And driving in the HOV lane, being a single driver, bond is going to be set at $500. So that's going to be a total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
It should already be paid.
Okay. And if it's already paid, there's going to be a preliminary hearing date that's going to be set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm hiring my own.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Adams?
No, sir.
You're free to go back, sir.
Where's Sean Arnold?
Mr. Arnold, you've been charged with 1 count of false imprisonment. The bond is going to be set at $5,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived on your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for it?
Representing myself.
If you don't have any questions for me, Mr. Arnold, you're free to go back.
Last name Asbury.
Okay.
Gentlemen, let me be quiet,
Hold it down, man.
Did you say Clark?
No, sir, his last name gonna be Asbury.
Okay. Mr. Asbury, you're charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle with expired license plate. The bond is going to be set at $500 for that. You're also charged with one count of obstructing an officer. The bond is going to be set at $1,500 for a total bond of $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm gonna hire my own if I need to.
Okay. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th. That date is going to get waived on your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Ashford.
Okay, next is gonna be Anton Baker.
Okay.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Your Honor?
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Baker, you're charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property
Yes,
and
sir.
one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce.
Yes, sir.
Give me 1 second.
Yes, Your Honor.
Brandon Baker. Who? Baker. Yeah. Baker? Yeah.
The bond is going to be set at $20,000 from the theft
Yes,
by
sir.
receiving stolen property being a vehicle
Yes, sir.
and $1,500 for the possession of marijuana.
Yes, sir.
Do you have, well, there's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for March 29th, 8:30
Yes, Your
in the
Honor.
morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I could hire an attorney.
Okay. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Baker?
No, can I just hear the bond again, sir, Your Honor?
I'm sorry, total bond is going to be $21,500.
So if I just get a bondsman, I can bond out?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. No more questions, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Brandon Baker. Oh, tell you Brandon. Antonio Boston.
Okay. Mr. Bostic, you're charged with one count of driving a vehicle with no license. The bond is automatically set at $1,000. You can use that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. Gentlemen, be quiet.
You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Bostic. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Charles Brown. Charles Brown.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Brown, you're charged with one count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $2,500 for that. And I put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from James Garland. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
I'm on disability. I get paid on the 15th of every month. And upon retrieving my wallet when I was under arrest, they took my cards out, my debit cards but anyway, I don't have any money until I get my disability payment on the 15th.
Okay, what I would encourage you to do, sir, is contact the bonding company that are authorized to write bonds in this county. I'm sure that they will work with you to help you get out. So don't just resign yourself that you're gonna sit in here until this is resolved. Okay?
Okay. At current, I really, since they possessed my debit cards, if it was the 15th, I couldn't do anything because I don't have the card. I have my wallet, but they have the debit card. That would be my girlfriend and her brother, which is James Garland.
Okay.
We wound up living with him, and his spinal surgery last year. That's my responsibility. But my debit card is there, so I couldn't do anything if it was the 15th. Until I could have my card in my hand, I couldn't make a payment.
I would encourage you again to contact the bonding company because their business is helping people get out of jail. So if they don't help you get out of jail, they don't make any money.
Right,
So I'm certain they're gonna work with you, okay?
okay,
We have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bond amount. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or do you want to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I wasn't planning on hiring one. I really honestly didn't think I needed one.
Okay,
I can't afford one. Nothing really occurred other than argument. You know, I was physically thrown out.
okay,
There was no, it's kind of like, it shouldn't even be, there was no assault. I feel like, I'm the one that made the call. I was the one that felt assaulted. I was struck by a girlfriend and thrown out by her brother physically. That was the only physical contact was to me.
okay.
So that was, you know, I felt like there would be no need for, there shouldn't even have been a need for an arrest, not to me, because I'm the one that called them. So I'm just really distraught here about the whole thing.
What I'll do, Mr. Brown, is I will write down that you intend to represent yourself unless you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer.
If you would, I would appreciate it.
Okay. You said you're on disability?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna find that you qualify, Mr. Brown, and I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. So do you have any other questions of me, Mr. Brown?
No, sir, other than I would like to put a stop on the car to report them stolen, but I'm not able to do so in my current position. So.
Yes, so again, I would encourage you to contact bonding companies, and I do believe that they will assist you in getting out. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're free to go back, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Ricky Brown. Hey, Judge, Claudio Brown, I think he's out of OTB.
Oh.
But I'm gonna double check, but we're gonna go ahead and go with Ricky Brown for right now.
Okay, Claudio Brown shouldn't be OTB. You got
Okay.
two threats and simple battery,
Okay,
but check on that for me.
I'm sorry, he's gonna be up in medical, so we finish, I escort him down here, and we'll start from that point.
Okay.
Okay.
You're Ricky Brown?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brown, you've been charged with 2 counts of aggravated stalking. I can't set bond for these offenses at this hearing, but I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 29th. It's going to be at 8:30 in the morning, and it's going to be over Zoom hearing like we're having here today. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah.
You do qualify, Mr. Brown. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I'm also going to set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. These dates are preset. Your lawyer should be able to work with the district attorney's office to see if they will consent to a bond. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Let's first the last name Brown Lee.
Okay. Mr. Brownlee, you've been charged with one count of improper lane change and one count of driving a vehicle without a license. The total bond for this is going to be set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
No.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I'm gonna represent myself.
Okay.
I can go through the bonds company, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Brownlee?
Can you repeat when my court date is?
It's gonna be March 30th, but that's sort of a placeholder date. If you bond out, that date is gonna get waived and you're gonna get a new court date in the mail.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, sir?
No more questions.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Brownlee.
Chairman Brian, Chairman Brian.
Okay. Mr. Bryant, you're charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I don't have a warrant for you. I have a question as to whether you had already bonded out.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
You've already posted your bond?
Yes.
Okay. Since I have you here, do you plan on hiring your lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I represent myself.
Okay. Since you've already bonded out, that preliminary hearing date is going to get waived. So if you don't have any other questions or any questions of me, you're free to go back.
All right.
Okay.
Jamal Claiborne.
Morning. Mr. Blunt, you've been charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property, being a motor vehicle, and one count of driving on a suspended license.
Yes, sir.
I've set the bond at $20,000 on the theft by receiving stolen motor vehicle and $1,500 for the driving a vehicle without a valid license. That's a total bond of $21,500. Do you believe you can pay the bond, sir?
I believe so, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning.
Yes,
That's
sir.
gonna be over a Zoom call like we have here today.
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
The court's gonna appoint me a lawyer. That'd be great, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Claiborne, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Yeah, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Orlando Clark.
Mr. Clark, you're charged with one count of simple battery, setting the bond at $3,000, and I'm putting a stay away provision on the stay away from Mr. Clayton. I've also set the same bond for Mr. Clayton and put a stay away provision for him to stay away from you. Do you understand the stay away provision?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Clark, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to, I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived on your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Clark?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Shaquan Cole.
Mr. Cole,
He's on the way, Judge.
I was starting to get ahead of myself.
How you
Good
doing?
morning, good afternoon, Mr. Coe.
Good afternoon.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of obstructing an officer. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for this. Do you believe you can post this bond?
Yeah,
You have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yeah.
You do qualify, Mr. Coe. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
You said the bond was how much?
$5,000.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, you're free to go back.
Jamison Corey.
Mr. Curry, you've been charged with one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and one count of battery. I can't set a bond on the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge at this stage, but I have set a bond at $5,000 for the battery, and I've set a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Mr. Toll. I've also set his bond, he had just one count of battery. I've set his bond at $5,000 and put a stay away provision on his bond for him to stay away from you. I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm also going to set a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, Mr. Curry. And I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. It appears as though this was some type of fight, but this, as I said before, because you have this aggravated assault charge, I can't set a bond for that at this stage. So speak to your lawyer. Sorry, speak with your lawyer. Your lawyer may be able to work this thing out before it gets to your preliminary hearing date. Do you have any questions of me, Mr.
No,
Curry?
sir.
Okay,
No.
you're free to go back.
Stephen Daniel.
Mr. Daniel, you've been charged with one count of theft of services and one count of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. The bond is going to be set for each of these offenses at $2,000, which brings a total bond of $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. The only question I have, you said there was gonna be cash gonna be online to the sheriff's office. They had told me that last night.
If they told you you can do it, then yes, you can do it. They're the experts. They write bonds they deal with bonding situations every day. So whatever they told you, you can rely upon it.
And they told us it's gonna be 4,000 even. Is that correct?
Well, there are fees that are added. So the sheriff's department has to add certain fees by law, and I don't have access to that. So it's going to be a little bit more than 4,000, but they'll be able to tell you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I have my own lawyer retained already,
Okay.
but I'm gonna take care of this. It's pretty much a closed and shut case in my opinion.
Okay. Because you're going to bond out, there's a preliminary hearing date that's set at this stage, but that date gets waived upon your bonding out. So it's going to be March 30th, but if you're bonding out, that date is going to get waived. So you will receive information as to a new court date in the mail.
Yes, sir.
Any questions of me?
No, sir, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Down, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Barbara Davis.
Mr. Davis, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I'm gonna set the bond at $3,000 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. I have a question though.
Yes, sir.
I got my credit card and my property in jail. Can I call the bonding company and do it like that?
Excuse me. The short answer is that I believe so. The sheriff's officials there are the ones that can tell you specifically what they will allow. I do believe. Okay, if they told you that, then again, you can apply. Okay. I'm gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th. That date is gonna get waived on your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Davis, so I'm appointing the lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Deontay Paul.
Mr. Forrest, you have 3 charges. One is family violence battery, one is simple battery, and one is cruelty to children less than 18 years old. I'm gonna set the bond at $5,000 a piece for each of these, which is a total bond of $15,000. I'm also putting a stay away provision to stay away from Courtney Forrest. And I understand that's your wife, but this is a stay away provision. You stay away from her until this provision is changed. Do you understand that, sir? Now, there is also in the warrant, and it looked like it may be related to the juvenile, which is, I understand is your child also, correct? Her name was not listed, but because she's a juvenile, sometimes that doesn't happen. So you're gonna have to stay away from her, okay? This is something that's gonna get added later, her name to the bond order, so that we know specifically, because I understand there are other children that you have. I would encourage you to wait until this situation is cleared up before you interact with anybody, because you could have aggravated stalking charges, and like Mr. Brown, you'll have to sit in jail until that gets resolved, okay?
No problem.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself, or you want me to qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You see if I qualify.
You qualify, Mr. Forrest, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, that's good.
Okay, you can go back.
Clavius Bernard.
Good afternoon. Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of theft by taking and 1 count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. I'm setting the bond at $10,000 for the theft by taking and $20,000 for the possession of firearm by a convicted felon, for a total bond of $30,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning. That's going to be over Zoom call like we're having here today. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See, do I qualify for one?
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Leroy Brady.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grayer?
Good morning, sir.
Hello, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass and 1 count of disorderly conduct. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for the criminal trespass and $1,500 for the disorderly conduct. So that's a total bond of $6,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
No, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, Mr. Grayer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be over Zoom call like we have here today. You should speak to your lawyer about this. The lawyer may be able to have this worked out before that date ever comes up.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Sean Harold.
Good morning.
Good
Actually,
morning.
afternoon now. Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 and I'm setting a stay away provision on this bond, to stay away from a Eugene Williams Jr. And I understand from the WAA how you may have gotten yourself involved into this situation, but that's something that'll get dealt with at a later date. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yeah, that's fine.
You do qualify, Mr. Is it Heron?
Yeah.
Mr. Heron, you do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your finding out. Do you have any questions of me?
That'd be it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marquetta Jacob.
Mr. Jacobs, sir, you've been charged with 2 driving related offenses. One is driving a vehicle with no license, and the second is driving a vehicle while the registration has been suspended. The bond for both of these is set by schedule, and so it's going to be a total bond of $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
See if I qualify.
You do qualify, Mr. Jacobs. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, that's it.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Victoria Jordan.
Good morning, y'all.
Well, it's good afternoon now.
All right, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You were charged with 3 driving related, well, actually, 1 driving related offense, which is illegal parking in a handicap zone. You're also charged with obstructing an officer and simple battery. I've set the bond at $1,500. I'm sorry, $500 for the illegal parking, $1,000 for obstructing an officer, and $2,000 for the simple battery.
How much you say for the simple battery? I can hear that one out.
Oh, $2,000. So you're gonna have a total bond of $3,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out.
All right.
Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
All right.
Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir. You have a good day.
You too. Are you you're Tommy Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, you've been charged with 2 driving-related offenses. Driving a vehicle without a license, the bond is set at $1,000 for that. And driving a vehicle with no tail lights, the bond is set at $500. So that's a total bond of $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You plan on representing yourself, hiring your own lawyer? Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment?
So do I qualify, Your Honor?
You do qualify, Mr. Johnson, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Yes, sir.
I have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bond out.
Okay.
Do you have any questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
You go.
Johnson, you've been charged with 4 driving-related offenses. 3 of them, the bond is automatically set at $500. And you're also charged with driving with an instrument, and the bond is $2,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $3,500. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer, representing yourself? Or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment?
See if I qualify.
You do qualify, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Here we go.
Mr. Jones, sir, you've been charged with 1 count of driving on the suspended license. Bond is automatically set at $1,500 for that. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir. It should be already paid.
Okay. So there's a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is waived upon your bonding out. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment?
I represent myself.
Okay. If you don't have any questions of me, Mr. Jones, you're free to go back.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at my grab. My grab. Look at my grab. Okay, loading mark. Yes, sir.
You, Mr. Is it Loden?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Loden, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for that, and I'm setting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Ed Evans. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Please, sir.
You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. I would also encourage you to contact bonding companies that are authorized to write bonds in this county, because these companies, their business is getting people out of jail, so they most likely will work with you to help you get out of jail. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, and that date will be waived upon your bonding out. I would also encourage you to speak to the lawyer that I'm appointing to you, because the lawyer may be able to work this out with the solicitor's office so that this can get resolved relatively quickly. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
How fast can I talk to that lawyer?
The paperwork goes over to the law firm today. The law firm is Lister, Lister, and Holt, Holt. I don't know like what internal mechanisms they have as it relates to contacting you, but they should have this information today and you should by tomorrow. So if they don't contact you, they can contact you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lovett.
Sir, you've been charged with one count of driving a vehicle with looks like an inoperable brake light or signal light and driving on a suspended license. The bond for the first charge is $500. The bond for the driving on suspended license is set at $1,500 for a total bond of $2,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived when you're bonding out.
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment?
Yes, sir.
You qualify, Mr. Lovett, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roger McKinney.
Mr. McKinney, you've been charged with 4 driving-related offenses. The driving a vehicle with no license, no valid license, the bond is set at $1,000. The driving a vehicle with an expired or invalid tag, the bond is set at $500. Looks like failure to yield at a stop sign, the bond is set at $500. And driving a vehicle with no insurance, the bond is set at $1,000. So that's going to be a total bond of $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to simply qualify for the appointment of lawyer?
Representing myself.
Okay. We're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. McKinney?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Nathan Miller.
Mr. Miller, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property as a misdemeanor. The bond is going to be set at $2,500 for that, but I'm going to put a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Deborah Edmonds and Dorothea Frazier. I understand that you may have just recently moved in to this location.
Yes, sir.
Do you still have personal items there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, upon your bonding out, you're gonna have to make arrangements with the sheriff's department so that you can go to that location and retrieve your items. It's not gonna be a situation where they're gonna be there for 8 hours and, you know, it's gonna be a moving out situation. They're gonna be there long enough for you to be able to get your personal items so that you can find another place to stay. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Miller, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You're going to have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is going to get waived upon your bonding out.
Okay.
Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, how much you said my bond was?
Total bond is $2,500.
250. Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Judge, we got Newbie and Nolan, they're in medical. We're gonna go ahead and escort them down here, but since we're waiting on them, we're gonna go ahead and start with Sterling Pate.
Okay. Mr. Pate, sir, you've been charged with one count of simple battery. You have a bond that's going to be set at $3,000, but there's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Orlando Clark. I placed a stay away provision on his bond to stay away from you. Do you believe you can post this bond, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you understand the stay away provision?
No.
Okay. You and Mr. Clark both being ordered to stay away from each other until this provision can be lifted. It can certainly be lifted. Because there is an allegation of a fight, we don't, and that you can come back in contact with each other, we don't want whatever disagreement led to the two of you coming before you to get started upon finding out.
Ain't that on the jail to make us stay away from each other?
It will be. It will be.
But I'm saying, I got a question. So if we so happen to cross paths again, will I be, will you know, everything fall on my behalf or the jail behalf?
Unless you not, let me see, unless you actively place yourself in his position, it will be on the jail, keep you separate. So what I mean by that is that if you decide you're gonna break out of your cell and go to his cell, that'll be on you, not on the jail. If the jail placed the two of you in a cell together, that's on the jail. If the jail placed the two of you in a situation where you are within the same eating circumstance, whatever, that's on the jail. So I'm putting this on both of you, and there should be steps taken to keep you separate. Okay? Do you already have a lawyer?
I'm finished with Clayton County, so I don't have a lawyer right now.
Okay. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer for this case?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, Mr. Pate. Do you have any other questions of me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
When is my preliminary hearing?
It's going to be set for May 30th.
May or March?
Sorry, sir, March 30th. But if you're transported somewhere, or when you say through, does that mean you're going someplace else or you're going to be released?
DOC. I'm going to DOC.
Okay. So what probably is going to happen is that this charge is going to be dismissed. I mean, I'm not the solicitor. Don't make those determinations, but they're probably not going to spend the time to bring you back to deal with this.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Keontae Sales.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Good afternoon. Mr. Sams, you've been charged with 3 driving related offenses and 1 drug offense. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for the drug offense. The allegation is 3 marijuana gummy, let's say gummy bears or 3 marijuana gummies. That is a felony. So you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 29th.
So I can't get a bond on that one?
No, the bond is $5,000 for that.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
I'm gonna go through the other driving related offenses. I just started with that one first. We're gonna have a preliminary hearing date. It's gonna actually be set for March 31st.
March 31st, okay.
At 3:30, I'm sorry, 8:30 in the morning. And that's gonna be over 200 here today.
Okay.
So you have a failure to yield at the stop sign, the bond is $500 for that. You have a, it's written kind of weird, but it looks like driving a vehicle without a license. The bond is set at $1,000 for that. And failing to change your license to an address of being a resident here for 30 days is how it's written up. It's $1,000 for that also. So you're gonna have a total bond of $7,500. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, like I said before, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date for March 31st. Do you plan on hiring your own lawyer representing yourself, or do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Qualify.
Okay. How much do you earn per month, Mr. Simmons?
Week or monthly?
Monthly.
Probably like 3,800.
Okay. You do qualify. So I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions of me, sir?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next person, Robert Thornton.
Hello, John.
Hi, Mr. Thornton. You've been charged with 1 count of battery. I'm setting the bond at $5,000 for this, and I'm putting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Edna.
Can I mention something?
Yes, sir.
That's a boarding house. And I rented a room there. And I didn't know this woman was in a twin bed in this room. So I'm sleeping on one side, she's sleeping on her bed, on the other side of the room. So yesterday, her doctor come, banged on the door. She cussed him to everything she could lay his tongue to and told him to get away from there. Don't ever come back there. And she's schizophrenic and bipolar. And so I didn't want to be in the room with that woman. And I never put my hands on that woman. I don't even know the woman. I've been there since the first. And I got 2 witnesses that'll tell you that I'm sitting right there watching the news with them as soon as that doctor left. I never did anything to this lady.
Okay. So you don't know this Oglesby, Miss Oglesby, other than being in the room?
No, not particularly, no.
Okay. So explain this boarding house or rooming house situation to me.
It's
well, let me ask a more specific question.
All right.
How many rooms are there?
How many rooms are there?
Yes.
It's got 1, 2. It's got 3 rooms, 2 single beds in the bed of one of the 3 rooms. No air, no heat back there.
How did you come to be in the same room with Miss Oglesby?
How did I what?
Come to be in the same room with her.
That's where the lady put me that I rented the room from. It's nothing but strictly platonic. I mean, the woman's off the deep end, and And not pretty at all, so it's not anything I'm looking for.
Well, so I have concerns that I have to try to meet.
Yeah.
Number one is I don't want whatever led to your being before me to get stirred up again. And it seems like there's something deeper going on.
She cusses everybody out. She cusses all the black people by the end name. I mean, she just has got a filthy mouth.
So if you bond out, which you obviously will at some point be able to bond out, what's going to be your plan?
My plan would like to be to get back to my car and my dog and get to my doctor appointment in the morning, because I've got appointments to go to this month. And if you set my bond, I'm gonna get out this evening if you say I can get out.
Right. This stay away provision is something that you're going to have to live with.
I'm gonna move to the other single room.
Okay, that was what I was getting at.
Well,
Okay.
that's where I'm going.
Okay. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I need one.
Okay. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you, Mr. Thornton. And you're going to have to make sure that the people at the rooming house know that you're not to be placed near her. Okay.
Right. That's fine with me.
Okay, you're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 30th, but that date is gonna get waived upon your bonding out, and you're gonna get a new court date in the mail.
Okay.
Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Thornton?
No, particularly, I mean, if my bond's gonna be $5,000, how much do I pay of that bond? 500?
Roughly 500. You can also contact a bonding company. Some of them will put you on a payment plan, or they'll work with you. So it could be something less than 500.
Well, I'll pay for it today if I can get out today.
Okay.
You say I can?
Yes, sir, you can.
All right, thank you very much. You have a nice day.
You too.
Judge, we're gonna backtrack a little bit. We're gonna go back to Cardio Brown, the one that was in medical.
Right.
So we're just gonna backtrack. We escort him down here, so if you have his paperwork, we ready to go.
I do.
Yes, sir. Cardio Brown.
Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of terrorist act. Bond is gonna be set at $5,000 for each of these. And there's gonna be a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Alicia Brown.
Yes,
So your total bond is gonna be $10,000. Do you believe you can post that bond, sir?
I don't have the money to post bond, but I believe I can call someone.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Missing your form. Are you currently employed, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir, I am.
Approximately how much do you make per month?
A little under 2,400.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Brown. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Thank you, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date. You're welcome. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for March 29th at 8:30 in the morning. And that date is gonna remain since you're gonna have a felony charge of terroristic act. Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Brown?
Can I get help in seeing a counselor, Your Honor?
You're seeing a counselor for what?
Anxiety, anger management, and depression, sorry.
Okay. Are you currently under any medications?
Yes, I am, sir.
What medications are you currently taking?
I take, you don't mind if I can reach in my pocket to get the information?
Ask the deputy if you can.
Can I reach in my pocket to get the information? I'm currently taking Celeprotron, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Is it Celepro?
Yes, it's a seizure medication, but the doctor prescribed it for depression as well. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm also taking others for nausea. And I'm also taking stool softeners too for hemorrhoids and such.
Okay. So I'm writing all of this down so I can put it on the form for your lawyer to know. And make sure that you tell the lawyer about the medications that you're on. And the lawyer will hopefully use that information with the solicitor's office. And I believe that I'm sorry, it's going to be with the DA's office. And I know that they will work something out to get you the help that you need. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions?
Is it possible if I could find a way to find out?
Yes, you will be allowed to use the phone when you go back downstairs, and you can with your family to help get you out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Feel free to go back, Mr. Brown.
All right. You have a good afternoon.
You too.
Movie. Movie. What's the name, man? Jerry. Who on that? Really?
Mr. Newby?
What your name, the last name, my newbie?
No, it's Khalil Gary.
Khalil Gary?
Yes, sir. It's my real name is Khalil Gary.
Good afternoon, sir. You've been charged with one count of murder. I'm not allowed to set bond for this at this stage. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for you for March 1st. And I'm also setting a bond hearing date for April 2nd. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to find that you qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions of me?
May I have a counselor?
Are you currently taking any medications?
No, I spend most of my time exercising in my room.
Okay.
So purchasing, reading.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on your form that you're requesting a counselor so your lawyer will know?
Yes,
So
sir.
your lawyer can make those arrangements, okay?
Yes,
Any other questions, sir?
that is all. Thank you, sir.
No problem. You're free to go back.
God bless.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor, we have Christopher Tolles.
Okay.
Your Honor, I got two I'm saving for last. They're gonna be extradition. Did you get the form for that?
I did. I got one form each from Miss Mary. And
Okay.
I can sign it on my end and send it back, or however you guys want to do it. Whether you want to have him sign and send it to me, or however you choose to do it.
Okay, that'd be the quickest way, because I have them here. So once I get them to sign, I can send it straight to you, and then you can go ahead and have a good day.
Okay. Mr. Tolles? So, sir, you're charged with one count of simple battery for fighting with Mr. Jamison Curry. I'm setting a bond at $5,000, and I'm setting a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from Mr. Curry. And I understand that you both are in custody. So the jail is going to be made aware of this so that they can keep you separate. Do you already have a lawyer appointed, sir?
No, I was through with Clayton County.
Okay, so you're going down to the DMCA also?
To the federal inmate.
Okay. Do you want me to appoint a lawyer for you on this case?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint a lawyer, but as I told Mr. Curry, most likely this won't be pursued. But I don't make that decision. That's something that decision that's made by the solicitor. So I'm appointing a lawyer just so at least the two of you can have someone that's here advocating on your behalf. Do you have any questions, sir?
When would I go to court?
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing date for March 30th. And as long as you're in custody, that date will remain. And I honestly don't know what you're going to do if you're, for example, getting transferred to the holding facility that's down here for federal court. I don't know what they'll do, but I'm just giving you that information just in case. Okay. Any other questions, please?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
All right. Hello, good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Are you Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Murray, you've been charged with one count of family violence battery and one count of cruelty to children less than 18, meaning you allow them to see violence. I'm setting the bond for both of these at $2,500 for a total bond of $5,000. I'm also putting a stay away provision on your bond to stay away from Cassandra Thornton and looks like Carmen Murray. Do you believe you can post a bond?
I have a 4-month-old too. Her name is Kennedy Murray too.
Okay.
But they live with me. You know, she broke in my house, and I have a new companion there. So she vandalized my truck and my whole house. I have everything on footage. So how can I defend my children? How can I defend my children by not letting her in the house? My companion was a witness of the whole ordeal. I'm trying to move on from this girl, but she's bringing violence to my house. Of course, my children are going to witness because they're in my care. I have a 4-month-old baby who I take care of by myself.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
At this point, sir, I really don't know what to do. If this takes place in my house, my residence, where I'm raising my children, my truck is damaged, and I'm trying to push her out my front door, and the door hit her and creates a knot. I have no say so of my well-being. I don't know what to do. I go to jail sitting inside my house. Attacker comes in my house. I have nothing else to say. I don't know what to do, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna help you through this, but I have to do it in the right way, okay? Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Are you currently employed, Mr. Murray?
I'm an owner-operator starting my own business as we speak right now. But I was supposed to meet with people today to get things off the ground. It's hard to even talk about this. I know people don't get up here and speak this much. He told me not to say that much, but this situation can't go without words.
Okay, Mr. Murray, you asked for my help, correct?
Yes, sir.
So who should do the majority of the talking, you or me?
You, sir.
Okay. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. You need to tell the lawyer everything you just told me. I understand what you are saying, and just so you know, I take everything you tell me as 100% true, and I take everything that's in the warrant as 100% true. That's why this isn't a trial situation, okay? We're trying to get everything level so that things can move along the way that they're supposed to move along. You need to make sure the lawyer speaks to your new companion so that the lawyer can get the information, the witness statements, and all of that kind of stuff to assist you. You, in the future, pick up the phone and call 911. Resorting to self-help normally places people in the situation like professional wrestling. You know,
right.
They never see the first lick, they always see the second lick.
There was no licks thrown by me, sir.
I know, I'm just using that as, you know, as an example, right?
Yes.
So, Mr. Murray, just as an observation, sir, I know you're probably angry behind all this.
Very.
But you got to understand, I didn't do anything to you. The deputies didn't do anything to you. We are not here as your enemy. Okay? The person that you're having this problem with, I guarantee she's probably already called the solicitor's office 20 times telling them how she's afraid of you.
I took her to the emergency room myself, sir.
I get it. I get it. But Mr. Murray, I was a criminal defense lawyer for 20 some odd years. And I've seen what you're going through right now. I've represented clients that are going through the exact same thing you're going through right now. The thing that I had to get them to understand, which I hope I can get you to understand, is that if the person did everything that you claim she did, she doesn't care about you. And to the extent that you care about somebody that don't care about you, putting yourself in a bad situation. So you got to do what you got to do for yourself and your children, okay?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm doing.
So I'm appointing a lawyer to represent you.
Thank you.
The paperwork is going over there today. The law firm is going to be Lister and Holt, Lister, second name Holt, Holt. It should take a day or so for your name to get into their system. And I would encourage you, the first thing you do is to contact them and to let them know the circumstances so that somebody can get working on this, okay?
Okay, but can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
She has access to my house and the camera footage. Right now, she could be in my house stealing whatever. Right now, I'm being left with nothing, no option. As far as I'm concerned, this is all I have when I leave her. If I can't go back to my residence, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, if I can't go there, she doesn't live there. If I can't go there, where can I go? I have no family here, none. I do everything on my own. I built all this, I built from the ground up by myself.
Mr. Murray, if she doesn't live at that residence, what makes you believe you can't go back to your home?
Because I was told I have to stay away from her and where the situation took place. This took place in my house. She broke into my house, tried to attack me in front of the children.
Okay, so the bond order says for you to stay away from Cassandra Thornton and Carmen Murray, okay?
Okay.
Cassandra Thornton doesn't live at your house.
No, she doesn't.
So you should be able to return to your home.
Okay, well, it was explained to me by an officer upstairs, a woman officer. She was trying to help me out and was saying that I could possibly get in trouble for even going back to my house because that's where the situation took place.
So you're gonna have a copy of this bond order, okay? And the bond order is not related to the location. The deputy was probably giving you information to assist you so that you don't unknowingly do something that you're not supposed to do, okay?
Right.
As it relates to the child, with your being here, I'm assuming that the child is with her.
Yes, but she's on drugs and she's an alcoholic, so she has a 4-month-old child that she hasn't,
Is there an order in place giving you custody of the children?
No, I've just been taking care of them because I know her situation.
So that's something that you are gonna have to take upon yourself to get formalized, okay? Because I understand what you're saying, but because things are not in order, you're putting yourself in a situation where you can get jacked up at any point.
Right, but I understand the fact that I'm not supposed to go around her or my kids. I just want to go back to my house where I can at least put on clean socks and drawers.
You will have that ability, okay? All right, do you understand, Mr. Murray?
Yes, sir. How much was the bond? Say that again.
Total bond of $5,000.
So do I need to pay 10% of that?
Roughly that amount. Bonding companies charge different fees. So you would have to contact the bonding company and they'll tell you exactly what they'll charge you. Okay, any other questions, sir?
I have none.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, you want to talk to both inmates at the same time?
Yes.
William and Brandon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I saved you both to the end because you're both in the same situation. So it's just easier to talk to you both. You both are alleged to be what are called fugitives from justice, which means that there's another state that has a warrant out for your arrest, and that other state has told the sheriff's department that they want to extradite you to deal with your particular situation. So I'm going to read something to you both, and it's going to be only slightly different in that I'm going to identify to each of you the allegation, meaning the warrant and what they're saying, what state and what they're saying there's a warrant for you for. So this hearing is what is called an extradition hearing. And all of the rights that I advised everyone of earlier also apply in your case, but your hearing is a little bit different from the other first appearance hearings that have just taken place. You do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in another state, and they're requesting that you return to that state to answer these charges. So I'll start with Mr. Bates. Are you Brandon Lane Bates?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bates, do you already have an attorney representing you in this matter?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
Okay. You are wanted by the Los Angeles Police Department for aggravated assault, which is a felony, and they have indicated that they will extradite you. Mr. Williams?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you James Mark Williams?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams, do you have an attorney representing you in this matter?
No, sir.
Okay. You have a warrant for your arrest from the Newport News Police Department in Virginia. And they have a warrant for your arrest for the offense of robbery, which is also a felony, and they have indicated that they will extradite you.
Yes, sir.
So you both are being charged as fugitives from justice, as I said before. And as you both have heard, you've been alleged, Mr. Bates, to be wanted for the charge of aggravated assault, and Mr. Williams, you've been alleged to be wanted for the charge of robbery. You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest the extradition or to waive the extradition. And be
Sorry, could you repeat that, sir? I couldn't really hear you.
Okay. You have a choice as to whether you wish to contest extradition or to waive extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide that you wish to contest extradition, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared under the governor's signature for your extradition to the other state. The court may consider allowing you to post bond, but the court is not required to allow you to post bond in your case. And most likely because of the allegation for the both of you, you're not going to get a bond while you're waiting for that. As you are wanted by another jurisdiction, I'm not setting bond at this time. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the state of Virginia or California, you may file a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things: whether the extradition documents are in order, meaning are they correct, spell your name right, name the right people; whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state, so it's whether this crime of aggravated assault exists in California and whether the crime of robbery exists in Virginia, and whether you are the person named in the requested extradition, and whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. So whether you did it or not, or any of that kind of stuff will not be determined here, okay? Most likely you're gonna lose this writ of habeas corpus, get sent back. You're entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 3 days, you may be committed to county jail for an additional 60 days while you're waiting extradition. If the extradition is not completed in 90 days, then you will be released. Do you have any questions as I've read this to you?
What you just said was if we waive it, they got up to 90 days.
Yes, sir.
And
So
if we don't waive it, then they'll go ahead and come and get us?
if you don't waive it, then you will have that hearing that I indicated before, where the only thing we determine is whether there's a valid warrant for arrest. So if you believe that that you probably got these charges pending, if you contest it, it just adds extra time to your waiting to deal with this.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Any more questions?
Well, am I going to be appointed a lawyer or an attorney?
If you want to contest it, you will be appointed a lawyer to deal with the issue here of whether it's valid. It's not going to deal with the aggravated assault allegation out in California.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Bates, do you understand what I read to you?
More or less, yes, sir.
Do you know at this point whether you want to waive the extradition hearing or contest the extradition hearing?
Whichever one would get me there faster.
Okay, that'll be the waiver.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do, yes, sir.
Okay, what about you, Mr. Williams?
Same.
Okay, the deputy will give you guys the paperwork to sign, and then they'll send it over to me, and I'll sign it, and I'll send it back today. And then the sheriff's department will notify both Virginia and California, and then that starts the clock, the 90-day clock run.
Am I allowed to have a copy of the extradition paper?
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hopefully we go back.
Brandon Bates. Fill it out. Judge, you have any more on your list?
I have, well, I have two, but they were both escape charges that I've denied WAAs, because it was basically two inmates that were in different cells, and that's not escape.
Okay, and
It was Nolan and Ligon, Ligon.
okay, okay. Cause I couldn't find them in yeah, okay, Nolan and
Ligon.
Okay, Ligon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it on my end. I don't have any more paperwork.
Yes, sir, Judge.
Yes.
Soon as they sign the paper, I'll fax it over to you, and probably within the next 2 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you. That starts my end now, getting my paperwork back.